This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Hey guys, what do you think? Well, Matt, let's just talk about the Arkansas basketball team today. Let's do 3 hours of happiness with basketball. 2-0. What do you think about that,
Phil? Happiness is a choice, and work just coming up in here working with you and Matty T is happy enough for me today, man. We're gonna have a good show regardless.
All right. I appreciate you putting that back on me. I guess we'll talk football, and we'll do that with Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation right now. Mike, Matt's telling me we got to talk football, basically, because it's a decision for us to be happy. I'm happy.
I enjoyed it. Happy. We went to the basketball game, and what we saw, man, on the basketball, that was a fun game. The runs they were going on, that was fun to watch.
Yeah, but Mike, I'll tell you who's not happy right now, and I think it's most of the Arkansas fan base when it comes to football. But I think that's fairly accurate, though, right?
Well, I'm happy because of that song you guys just played. It's one of my favorites, Brandy's. Good. So I love it. So I'm in a good mood today, guys. I really am.
Music is awesome, isn't it?
Well, you can thank Matty T for putting you in the happy mood that you're in then. Well done, Matt.
That was actually a Matt Jones selection, so that was a collaborative.
We all did our part. We win as a team and we lose as a team, guys.
Well, Arkansas lost as a team, Mike. What did you think what you saw Saturday at Razorback Stadium?
I was sitting there thinking when it was over, wow, if the defense had played like this all year, what a year it would have been. And then I thought to myself, well, 3 of those losses were by a combined 7 points. It's just been that kind of year. Weird stuff has happened. You finally get your defense to come around and you don't have your quarterback, and suddenly your offensive line is off the rails, and it's just been that kind of year, I guess. Fans aren't happy, I know that. And I'll say this, too. Here's what happens. When Sam Pittman made that decision to forego that chip shot field goal in the first quarter, a lot of fans jumped on Twitter and defended him. Oh, we need 7 points here. That's not going to make the difference. But then when it did make the difference, he's suddenly a bozo. That's the way this stuff works. When you win a game, I promise you, Brian Kelly made mistakes in that game.
He did a field goal, too. He should have kicked a field goal one time and went for it and didn't get it as well. He made some mistakes as well.
Exactly.
I don't know what they were doing going for it on 4th and 1 at their own, 25-yard line or something, and then the fake. I don't know what they were doing there.
So if they lose, he gets barbecued for his mistakes. You bring out this laundry list. That's what the fans do. But if you win, the laundry list doesn't exist anymore. So that's just football. It's the way it is. I got a guy, these questions I get for Ask Mike on Monday, one of them's like, did Gunnar Yurchek get suckered by Sam Pittman on this contract negotiation? It just ruined him as a coach. And I'm thinking, good grief, what is going on here? It's just a mass overreaction.
So, the idea here is that they haven't put together a full 4 quarters. Matt, you've said that, I think, a number of times in the last couple of weeks. I think you're 100% right about that. Joe Tess and Greg McElroy commented on that on the television broadcast. We all know that. We've watched this team enough this year. They haven't put together a full 4 quarters, maybe for the entire season. The thing that really is the shocking thing about these last 2 weeks, Mike, is that the Razorbacks cannot run the ball. And if it happens in the SEC West, that's one thing, but it's 2 weeks in a row. It's 2 weeks in a row. And is it Dalton Wagner wasn't there last week? It's not just on him. Rocket's not hitting the holes quite the same. LSU had fast defenders, I know, but Arkansas, they're supposed to be able to, hang their hat on running the football. They weren't able to do it much.
For the second straight week, what happened was the offensive line got out quick. People forget that being a big offensive lineman is not just about power blocking. Back when Houston was here, and I don't remember the kid's name, but he was really like a 4 or 5-star or something offensive lineman. He was supposed to be great. They started him early. Then they had to bench him, and they were working with him. And those were in the days when you could watch what was going on. And I'm watching this guy go through these blocking drills. They put a really quick defensive end on him. He was an offensive tackle, and he's shaking before each one of these reps because he knows he's going to get embarrassed because this guy's just flat quicker than he is, can move better than he can. And when you just see this a lot, a guy that gives up 25 or 30 pounds to an offensive lineman and is quicker can blow past the guy if he doesn't have good technique. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing some of these guys may be good power blockers, but what does that mean?
Mike, what's the deal with the quarterbacks? Is KJ going to be healthy this week? Are we going Cade, Malik? What do you think? And then what was your reaction to Malik's performance and then when Cade came in to relieve him?
Well, I'm over here about to go to Sam's press conference, and so maybe we'll learn a little bit more, but I think it's probably going to be his Wednesday thing before we know for sure, because remember last week he talked Monday, he was pretty optimistic, and by Wednesday it was like he didn't know. He's got this bruised clavicle, which is right next to his shoulder joint, and anybody's it's not a shoulder separation, but it's something similar in terms of pain. I know, Matt, you had a shoulder separation. Brandon Allen played a whole season like that where they had to shoot him up. And I, from what I understand, it's just very painful, and especially when you try to throw the football. So is that going to be better now, sitting out a whole week? Hopefully. We'll find out. As far as Malik, here's what I'll say about this guy, and I've said it from day one because I watched him as a freshman. Everybody's just enamored with his speed. He does not have football speed. He has track speed. He stumbles a lot. He doesn't have good footwork. That try for a touchdown on 4th and goal from the 3 or whatever, he had a hole. He stumbled as he went across the line of scrimmage and fell down. He got caught from behind by a defensive end like 3 times. He sometimes doesn't cut loose. So now it boils down to he's not really this runner you think he is. He's got to throw it. And he's got good zip on the ball, but when you don't give him time to throw, if that had been KJ in that game, I don't think you got enough time to throw the football. And we saw the same thing, when Cade Fortin came in the game. He threw one really good pass for a touchdown, and he threw a couple others that looked nice, but in the end, they just pinned their ears back and came after him, and they got him on the arm, and finally the second time it's ruled a fumble and the game over. So I don't think those backups were terrible. They just didn't have time to really throw the football.
Play devil's advocate just for a minute about this with Malik. And the more I watch him, Mike, the more I agree with you about his style of speed is much more straight line than it is, making moves or hitting the hole hard. But to play devil's advocate here, there aren't a lot of teams out there that has somebody of the speed of a Harold Perkins. Like, how often did it look? It was at least 2 or 3 times that it looked like Malik had 3 yards of room to try to get to the edge, and the next thing you know, Harold Perkins is on him like a blanket. I mean, the kid was incredible, and he was the difference in the game on Saturday.
Well, he was, but see, that's when you have to have the ability to turn quickly upfield and use that player's momentum against him, and he doesn't do that. He tends to float to the outside, which favors the guy on the inside if he's got good quickness. That's just there was a guy, Damian Williams, that played for Arkansas for a year, Springdale guy, and he was supposed to be fast because he had he's a great wide receiver.
He's a receiver, yeah.
And he ran an 11.100 meters at the district track meet and didn't even make state, didn't get to go to the state meet. And I thought, what's that all about? Well, what it was all about was he didn't have straight line speed, but that sucker could stop on a dime and accelerate for 2 or 3 steps like a madman. And that's when he got open. That's how this ability to cut is much more important than straight line speed in football because it's not a straight game. It's a series of moving here, moving there, reacting to the guy you see, and Malik just doesn't do that. And that was a good example. All he had to do was kind of cut back against the grain with that guy, and I think he could have got past him, but he tried to float around him. That doesn't work.
Mike, if we would have went to Vegas and you would have said Cade Fortin would have the longest rush on the afternoon, we would have won. But so that being said, I joke. But what's going on with this running game now? The last 2 weeks, is it more the offensive line? Are we banged up? Is Raheem Sanders just a step slow now? What do you see that's going on?
Yeah, most of it's the offensive line, but again, guys, everybody's got their little pet peeve they talk about. I'll just continue to say, A.J. Green, they should have played him more. When he came in, he gained yards. But it was like, okay, yeah, you came in and had a good series, now go back to the bench. We're still going to go with Rocket, and we're going to bring Dominion in too, and he didn't do anything. So when you got those 3 guys, just go with the hot guy. If he comes in and is making it work, as long as he's making it work, leave him in there. If they start to figure him out, go to somebody else. But I just think it was too much Rocket and not enough A.J. Green.
So, what happens in the next couple of weeks? It's so much of it feels like it depends on having KJ Jefferson. Does Malik improve all of a sudden over the course of 1 week? I don't think Cade Fortin is a quarterback that leads you to very many SEC wins. So I guess so much of it is getting KJ back. Without him, how much of a chance is there, to beat Ole Miss? If your defense plays the way that they did, you're still going to have to generate something like 17 to 20 points. And right now, that looks difficult to come by.
Yeah, these next two teams are pretty good defensively. Earlier in the year, Auburn was giving up a lot of points or a lot of yardage on the ground, but that's dropped lately. They're only giving up about 150, 160 yards on the ground, around 200 passing. So this is a tough situation for anybody but KJ. And then you go to Missouri. Missouri's, they're struggling right now, but I watch their game, and I'm telling you, those guys can play defense. They're good. And so you're not going to get any sort of break when you play them from a defensive standpoint. So they'll lose these next two games if they can't get this problem solved with the offense. If they can't get the running game going and at least get something out of their passing game.
Yeah, and I wonder if his shoulder injury, Mike, is if it's sitting out that week and whatever, if he will be, as far as KJ, if he'll be healthy against Ole Miss, if it's worth it. I think we got a good shot. I don't know which one it is, Mike, but I think we're going to win one of them. I don't know.
Well, you have to hope. I mean, like I said, maybe I'll know something here in a few minutes. It won't do you guys any good. The show is an hour later, but whatever. But I'll go in there and find out what I find out. But I'm hoping to get some good news on him.
Well, Muss's team looked good Friday night. Nabe's team looked really good Friday morning, against opponents that were overmatched. But I do think that for basketball, both teams, men and women, they look really good defensively. Maybe different reasons, but I think on both sides, they're going to be difficult teams to score upon. And both teams are buying in defensively, which you have to with Muss. And I think with Nabes' teams, this may end up being the best defensive team he's had in the 6 years as the head coach.
Yeah, so far so good with both of them. Now you've got this Nick Smith Jr. thing hanging around. Everybody's like, rumor. Oh, you may sit out the whole year and just go straight to the NBA, And so that's another thing you want to see. I'd like to see him play on, Wednesday. I'd like to see him out there. The sooner the better. Let's not turn this thing into a 2-month drama or wait till SEC play starts.
Well, you know how these rumors work. There were rumors that KJ wasn't going to play before the Liberty game. It turned out it was a week later that he didn't play. So, I'm not trying to, throw fuel on the fire of these rumors, but a lot of times, like when there are some of these rumors, there are reasons that these things get out. And sometimes there's just a little bit of truth with them that ends up becoming the truth later.
Well, the original KJ rumor, because he was out there warming up and he didn't have his ankles taped. That's what they were telling me. His ankles aren't taped. That's a dead sign. Well, it wasn't that game because he played, but maybe I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I've spent 50 years dealing with rumors. Once I retire, that's one of the great things I'm going to enjoy. I'm not going to give a crap about rumors. I'm just going to ignore them.
Well, I thought you were going to have a tell-all book with all the rumors. That's Fleetwood Mac style. Yeah.
I don't know enough to do a tell-all book. People don't tell me stuff.
I was about to say, I don't know anything either.
But usually it's good guys that tell me stuff, and I'm not going to reveal what they say. I mean, some guy you like gives you some inside information. You're not going to brat him out for that.
Right,
come on.
Right.
Well, Mike, we'll really be looking forward to your memoirs whenever it's time to retire, okay? We appreciate you hopping on with us, and we'll do it again next Monday. Thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike Irwin, Pig Trail Nation, joining us here on Halftime. It's interesting the way that he puts that, too, You got to try to ignore the rumors sometimes, but then there are little pieces of truth that come out with these rumors. And I don't want to believe, the rumors about Nick Smith sitting out the whole season. I don't want to believe any of that.
I don't either, Phil, but it'd be okay it'd be okay? Because would you just want to know now? If you'd be like, hey, he's not going to play, just know now and get it instead of worrying about it.
Man, if that's the case, I mean, that just becomes a giant distraction for the season.
Yeah.
A will he or won't he sort of a thing that everybody gets asked about until it's addressed up front. And right now, I don't think anybody's going to be addressing it up front.
Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.